Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today is March 31st, the last day of March, and it's not going out like a lamb here just yet. We've got some cold air that's going to continue to move into the state here. It's going to be somewhat of a drier flow here. It still will bring some snowfall for the higher terrain, adding to that record snowfall amount across from this area of Nevada here, and keep us cool here for on in through probably mid next week before we potentially start to warm things up here across the state as we go through the extended, and that means the potential for some flooding. We'll be watching that over the next few days. Now, here we are looking at the Tempest weather system here. So if you want an affordable home weather station, I highly recommend this one. It's got UV index, solar radiation. It's got an ultrasonic wind anemometer on it. It does pressure, temperature. It's all solar powered. You don't have to add batteries. It's totally wireless. The app is awesome. It's got lightning detection on it, and it's matching up very well with my professional weather station equipment I have here at my home. And the app is just really great. It stores all the data for you for free. It updates every 3 seconds. You can do graphs, all kinds of stuff, real-time data from your location. So anyway, look at the Caltrans district here, and you can see they're plowing some of these back roads. And a lot of this stuff is not going to be known until, there's a lot of the snow melts off, or people get going off in through spring and summer as you start heading off into the backcountry for hiking and whatnot. There's going to be a lot of damage to these back roads, and this video here kind of highlights that fact. Now looking at things on the GFS, this is looking at Washington, California here. There's the Hawaiian Islands way out here. So we put it into motion. You can kind of see that northwest flow with this system impacting the Pacific Northwest, some in Northern California, spreading some snowfall, not too much into the Sierra Nevada. But then we get the secondary system sliding through Sunday and Sunday night. It's going to bring some additional snowfall across the Sierra Nevada, adding to that record snowfall again. You can kind of see it continuing on through Monday night there. And then another system as we go through midweek, continuing to bring that snowfall across the area. The good thing is there's no big precipitation, no big rainmaker here. It's not a warm system or anything like that. So it's in of itself is not going to exacerbate any flooding here across the region, but it is adding to that potential energy across some of the Sierra Nevada in the form of the snowpack that's going to eventually melt at some point. Then you can see weak system kind of falls apart off the coastline there. Then the Gulf of Alaska troughing gets going, which could mean some ridging downstream across the state of California and a potential warm up here as we go towards the following weekend there, which could mean some flooding concerns. And again, we'll be watching that over the next few days. This is looking at 2-meter temperature anomaly, the most recent GFS hot off the press, the 12Z, and you can clearly see the below average temperatures across the state here. I mean, look at this, Nevada, especially in this one here. This will be about Monday afternoon. Very cold temperatures continuing to impact the state here, but then you'll notice that troughing set up here off the Pacific Ocean, over the Pacific Ocean, Gulf of Alaska out here north of Hawaii, and you can see the warm-up start to occur here as we get towards next weekend, and this would cause some problems because we already have flooding as it is right now, and you start melting that snowpack a little bit too rapidly, and there's going to be big flooding concerns, and hopefully we don't, combine that with some rainy systems here as we continue on in through April. But that's kind of a peek out into Fantasyland right now. It's just a signal at this point. We'll be watching it. And this is looking at the European, a little bit closer view of the state of California here. You can see that system impacting mainly the Pacific Northwest. It does spread some snow to Northern California, a bit to some of the northern Sierra Nevada here. And then that secondary system's a little bit better as we go through Sunday night. You can see it bringing some decent amounts across the Sierra Nevada. Again, not loaded with precipitation. It isn't a warm system, but it could bring some all the way down towards Southern California in the form of snow for some of the higher terrain as this cold air continues. And then another system as we go through Tuesday on into Wednesday there before we finally put an end to things for a while, it looks like, as we go through the extended forecast. So we'll see how this trends over the next several days. This is looking at 850 millibars, up somewhere up towards 5,000 feet. This is the state of California here, and you can see these blues, greens, and purples are all well below average temperatures. As we scroll through here this weekend, you can see these repeated rounds of cold air coming down across the region here. And then we continue on with this about through midweek. And then we start to go through a little bit of a change here. And you can see towards the European around the end of it, some much warmer air potentially impacting the state here. Now you can see here, this is the GFS hot off the presses. Total snow, 10-to-1 ratio. Put it into motion here, and you can see the one moving through Saturday night, Sunday morning, on in through Monday here. So we've got a couple more rounds of snowfall to go, and on in through midweek before we finally shut off the cold air into the state, it looks like, coming up here through the end of next week and through the weekend here. But still, some more snow will be added to that snowpack here through midweek. This is looking for the snow water equivalent here across the Sierra Nevada here, and I've been mentioning mentioning this for the last few weeks now, just huge amounts of water stored up across the mountains there. You can look, if you melted down some of the snowpack for some of these areas, it's over 70, 90, 80 plus inches, even some areas up over 100 inches of snow water equivalent there up on the higher terrain. So it's eventually going to come down and run down through the streams and rivers into central California here. And like I said, cross your fingers and hope we can do it more gradually versus a rapid warm up. This is looking, again, same thing as yesterday, 98 stations reporting up towards 61 inches average snow water equivalent across much of the higher terrain. Very abnormally high amounts. You can see that's about 236% of the normal April 1st average. Here's looking at the current reservoir conditions. Not much change there from yesterday. You can see we're doing quite well across the state. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Look at this. We got an above average signal starting to show up here across some of the west coast. This would go April 7th through 13th here. We'll see how this trends. This is 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, and we can use the break here, but we just don't want to warm things up too much here. So just because we're not getting the big precipitation makers does not mean there's not going to be flooding concerns as we go on through mid-April. This is April 13th ending there. So anyway, yeah, we're going to continue with this northerly cool pattern here, or northwesterly cool pattern here. It's going to bring some additional snowfall through about midweek, then the potential warm-up coming there. So we'll watch this as we go over the next few days. If you want to order that weather station, go ahead and click on the link below. Make sure the checkout code is West Coast Weather. You get 10% off, and it helps out the channel here as well. So anyway, we'll do this again here tomorrow, and we'll check out the trends of what's coming up here across the state. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.